And here in the United States, speaking at a campaign rally in Phoenix, Arizona, former President Donald Trump went after illegal immigrants, this time from China. The convicted felon accused China, Venezuela, and several other nations of deliberately sending illegal immigrants to the United States. The GOP's presumptive presidential candidate blamed President Joe Biden for, quote, opening America's borders to illegal aliens, end quote.
Everything that he does, Joe Biden puts illegal aliens first. He puts the cartels first. He puts the open borders, these lunatics first. And he betrays the American citizens. He's betraying the American citizens. Again, I say it all the time. He's the single worst president in the history of our country.
The ex-president said he would crack down on illegal immigration and would hold countries accountable that are sending them towards the U.S. southern border. Donald Trump said China was one such nation and added that he would impose tariffs on Beijing for not cooperating with the United States to curb illegal immigration.
Economic power. And by the way, if we're not careful, we're not going to have that for long either. That's going to go down the tubes with everything else. But if China or some other country is behaving badly, we have things called tariffs that are so severe.
Donald Trump also blamed China for the rising drug overdose cases in America, particularly referring to the lethal opioid fentanyl.
Head of a pin and put something, a little fentanyl on the head. If it's a little bit larger than the head of a pin, you're dead. You have no chance. And this is pouring in from China. And I had a deal with President Xi. He was going to give the death penalty to anybody manufacturing fentanyl in China and selling it to the United States.
However, it didn't take long for Donald Trump to take aim at his political rival, President Joe Biden. Still bitter about the hush money trial judgment, Donald Trump went on another rant about the conviction, calling it President Biden's political witch hunt.
This went through a rigged trial in New York with a highly conflicted, and I mean highly conflicted, judge, where there was no crime. It was made up, fabricated stuff. They didn't want to bring the case. They could have brought the case 7 years ago. It's only when you run for office they bring cases. But they would have done that 7 years ago, not in the middle of my presidential campaign, where we're beating Biden, by the way, by a lot. Did you see?
Now Trump continues to deny any wrongdoing and vows to appeal the verdict. This chapter marks a first in American history, as he's now the first ever former or current president to be convicted of a felony. Moreover, polling data shows Donald Trump hemorrhaging support from key independent voters in the aftermath of the historic guilty verdict. This certainly raises the stakes for the first debate between the two candidates as they prepare to face off June 27th in Atlanta. The weight of a felony conviction will be a heavy burden to bear for the ex-president, and he'll have to use the moment to try to erase the stain as millions of voters tune in for the monumental one-on-one. From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.
Firstpost reports from the world's second largest continent. Hello, I'm Alison LaGrange. A very warm welcome from Durban, South Africa. We get you the news and the newsmakers from Africa. From elections to climate change to innovations and opportunities. As the world's attention shifts, we report from Africa, the heart of the global South. Join me every weekday live on Firstpost.